It amazes me that there's still war going on in the world and we haven't figured out a way to establish ourselves as more egalitarian, respectful human beings that are enlightened, that look at each other with empathy, that know how to organize ourselves instead of categorizing ourselves into insular groups, not being able to organize ourselves in a way that focuses on individual liberty and meritocracy and the equity that we need to be fostering. Instead, it's a dog-eat-dog world. And the people that are born into this world with advantages of money, privilege, whether that's good looks, whether that's being born into a family that allows nepotism and grants access to opportunities in life that excludes people that may come from disadvantaged backgrounds. The fact that we can't configure ourselves as a species for the greater good, that we continue to lambast people that might not have as much or that don't work as much, without regard to the fact that they may not have the same opportunity, the same resources, the same intellect, education that people have fostered, or just that it's based on genetics and luck of the draw. The fact that we can't have a society, or that we're somehow locked into this capitalistic mode of thinking, this status quo, that it's just about what luck comes your way, because it's really a roll of the dice. There is no free will other than the ability to harness awareness, to really have a grasp and handle about your conscious decisions. And we ignore the fact that there is absolutely no such thing as equality. And the fact that we can't come to terms with that by kind of manufacturing equality through a system of governance, a system of economical equity, leveling the playing field by reorganizing society in such a way where we all benefit and we don't see people get to a certain point where their money just takes off exponentially through what is essentially trickle-up economics, where the people that are toiling away for the system, the people that are working for the machinations of the elite, people that have the control of the means of production, they may have the control of the means of production, the ownership, but that essentially creates serfdom and servitude. People that are forced to work paycheck to paycheck just to get by, to enjoy the very basic needs that should be provided by government regardless. We have the police. We have the fire department at our disposal. We have basic education for our youth. And it essentially stops at that when there's such a surplus of material goods, of wealth, especially in this country, the United States, that pretty much dictates the economy around the world with the dollar. And it essentially traps everyone from playing this silly game that just keeps getting the rich richer and keeping the poor down. And we need to break it. We need to have Marxist ideas, but we also need to have free trade ideas. We need a system of governance, a system of society that functions in such a way where we foster people's competition and growth, but we also need to allow socialist ideas to prevent people from falling into despair and poverty. And it's just this arrogance that that keeps people from thinking that this is as good as it's going to get, but it's not true. And there needs to be revolution that happens, economic revolution that It allows people to start breaking down these conventions that keep us in the status quo it's a very minimized way of seeing how things are ordered. And it's not about having chaos, and it's not about having a communist structure, but it's more about having an egalitarian, Marxist, free capital business throughout the world that really levels things for people that have been so disenfranchised by hereditary, nepotistic, just gains that people have gotten. And people aren't equal. They'll never be equal as long as everyone's genetics are different, as long as we're all born into different families, believe different things. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing to fear about a world where there isn't such an attachment to property, because this actually brings us out of this thinking that ownership is a sense of success, and it's just an illusion to prop people up to continue to have people with a slave-like mentality. Because there will be people that will be narcissists in society, and there are these psychopaths that are making it worse for people. They're smart enough, cunning enough to exploit people, manipulate the system for their own gain. And it's time to topple this dominion of capitalistic disparity that is making it so horrible and so difficult for people to get by unless they were handed something, handed an amazing fortune, handed amazing opportunities. But a lot of the time, it comes down to being in the right place at the right time, and most people aren't. 99% of the people are not in the right place at the right time to get the same advantages as people at the very top of the hierarchical pyramid. So it's going to take a while. It's going to take minds to come together and wake up to the fact that we're living in a prison, essentially, and all these billionaires are our wardens. They are our correctional officers. These politicians that just allow the status quo, just want to keep the stock market, all these things. Corporations on a pedestal, as if money is worth more than a human being, and that just shouldn't be the case. We need to be living in harmony with one another and harmony with nature, and in no way does capitalism support that.